Hey students, Miss Ward here with our second lesson from our atmosphere unit. This lesson is going to focus on the 5 layers of the atmosphere. Today in class you should have been provided with a foldable that had 5 flaps. Here I have outlined how I would like for you to label those 4 flaps. You may put them in color, or you don't necessarily need to follow the way I've done it here. However you would like to design it, that would be fine. But please label it troposphere at the bottom. That's because the troposphere is the layer closest to the surface of the Earth, and out to the exosphere, which is the last layer on the edge of space. So we're going to go ahead and begin talking about the troposphere, which is the bottom layer of our Earth's atmosphere. This will also be the bottom layer, or the bottom tab of your foldable. I will let you copy the facts that you feel are most important into your foldable, so choose which facts you think you would like to include. Of course, you can include everything. That's up to you. The troposphere is unique because that is where all weather and life occur. Also, the heat in the troposphere actually comes from the surface of the Earth. That's because the surface of the Earth absorbs radiation from the sun, and heat is then conducted back into the air from the surface of the Earth. So through conduction, that warm surface is going to warm the air molecules just over the surface. And of course, as you're moving away from a heat source, it's going to get colder. So as you move away from the Earth, the troposphere gets cooler as you move up in altitude. Also, it's really important to talk about what happens with density and air pressure in the layers. And of course, because you're closest to the surface of the Earth, this is where air molecules are going to be the most dense. This is where you're going to have the highest air pressure. So the most air molecules are going to be found in the troposphere, because that is, you have the gravity that's pulling the air molecules in close to the surface of the Earth. The next layer is the stratosphere. It's the second layer from the bottom. There's a lot of information here. Again, pause the video and you can record the information that you find to be the most important. Of course, only really large jets can fly at the very bottom layer of the troposphere. That's the only place where you're really going to see any airplanes, and they're really, really large jets. This is where we send weather balloons to collect weather data. In addition, the really big thing about the stratosphere is this is where the ozone layer is located, which is a really special layer that protects the Earth from deadly radiation. So the sun sends out radiation, and some of the ultraviolet radiation that is really harmful to our planet actually is bounced off of the top of the ozone layer, so it does not reach the surface of the Earth. The interesting thing about the stratosphere is it's the opposite of the troposphere. It gets hotter as you move up because this ozone layer is trapping heat at the top. So the heat source in the stratosphere is coming from the ozone layer. So it gets warmer as you move up through this layer. Again, the air molecules are very thin even at this second layer. You'd have to wear a spacesuit in order to survive the conditions of the stratosphere. The middle layer is the mesosphere. Meso means middle, the middle layer. This is the layer in which meteors burn up, and that's about all that happens in the mesosphere. It cools as you get higher, and there's barely any air molecules. The mesosphere is actually the coldest layer of the atmosphere, the one in the middle. So that is your mesosphere. Next, we have thermosphere. A lot of folks get thermosphere and troposphere confused. Thermo means heat. This layer is hot, hot, hot. This is where satellites, the space shuttle, revolves around the planet in this layer. You have the electromagnetic phenomenon. Aurora borealis occurs here. This is where the northern lights, the second picture is an image of the northern lights, which are seen at the poles, or I guess the North Pole. And then there is a southern version of the northern lights as well. And there are so few air molecules that it has the conditions of space. So the thermosphere is the hot, hot layer, and it is the fourth from the bottom, or the second from the outside. Okay, finally we have the exosphere. In some cases, you will look and you will not see the exosphere identified on the layers of the atmosphere. Some scientists just consider it to be the edge of outer space, but for my class, we will be studying the exosphere as the 5th layer of the atmosphere. It's superheated from the sun's radiation, so it's very hot. And lastly, there are trace amounts of air molecules. That means that there are barely any. If you search, you can find some, but you are so far out from the surface of the Earth that there are very few air molecules. So this has been a short video. You are done. Please make sure that you attach your foldable into the appropriate page in your science notebook. Thank you so much.